A week ago, Lil Tecca released his brand new album called Dopamine. A lot of people have been talking about it. I'm a little late to doing this video, but it's time to tier list the album front to back. Before we get into my review, like, comment, and subscribe to both of my channels. Join the Discord and also follow me over on Twitch. I'm going live over there a lot more. For the first track, Dark Thoughts, that was a single. Do I really need to even say anything? This is easily S tier, and honestly one of the best Tecca songs I feel like he's ever made, and for sure is one of the best on this album. This song deserves all the success that it's had, with Tecca just looking up a Pharrell type of beat on YouTube and working off of that. But if you just look at his career, him getting a hit on every album since he's blown up when he was like 16 or 17 is seriously impressive. Dark Thoughts is a banger and one of the best tracks this year. He followed that up with Oa Oa, which was a genius sample. It was a really catchy thing to do in the chorus. I thought Tecca came through once again with another great single to release before this album. I'm glad he only did two. They're the first two tracks on the album. I will say, I think I prefer Dark Thoughts a tad more. I think Oa Oa was his biggest streaming debut that he's had first day, like on Spotify, which just makes me really proud of him as a longtime fan, because he continues even this year in 2025 to get more and more popular. And I think track 3, Half the Plot, just barely gets up into S tier with those songs as well. The beat is super catchy and well done. Tecca said he was listening to a lot of the Miami Vice soundtrack, and you can clearly tell. I do feel like I've listened to enough Tecca over the years to know early on in a track or with a beat like this that he's not going to mess it up, and you just know early on that it is going to be a slap. The truth is, when we start getting the transitions, I guess, I think this is a solid A tier. I actually really like this track, you know, from the very beginning. I do think it's pretty underrated on the track list, but I think I was wrong in my reaction about saying that this song is better than Half the Plot. I'm definitely wrong about that. I like Tecca just rapping about his real life pretty much on this entire track list. He never really says anything out of pocket. I like that he's just really chill on this track and says he'll be high by noon. And then next up we got Favorite Lie, which I will also sneak into the S tier. I don't care. I love that Tecca tried to do this lane of music on like track 5. It's a very melodic 80s inspired just bop, dude. Undeniably, I love Tecca use this inspiration on some of these beats, and I feel like the whole soundscape of this album and songs like Favorite Lie are the reason why Dopamine is so unique in his catalog as well. Like early on, the first few tracks right away, it was something different from Tecca. It was something that I've never heard before. This album is distinct in his catalog. The voice is kind of talking to you on the outros of some of these tracks. I wish they kept going with that throughout the album. I thought it faded out on the second half of the album. They didn't really add any of that. Now I understand he doesn't want to have a direct copy of Dawn FM, which The Weeknd did with this sound, with these type of beats a couple years ago, so I can get not trying to be over the top with it. Hollywood's gonna go to the top of A tier for me. This song's really grown on me. I think dropping this album after a couple singles in June was perfection because of beats like Hollywood. It actually kind of feels like it plays off perfectly right after Favorite Lie. I think the last few choruses on the album were also very well done. It's always been one of Tecca's strong suits. And you'll notice almost every song on this track list is basically just 2 minutes or has pretty similar song formula, but it doesn't get repetitive. It doesn't get redundant. This was a great start to the album. X Factor is gonna just barely go in B tier, and if I'm really thinking of it, I've had a hard time picking a least favorite on this album as I've been listening this week. That might be towards the bottom. It sounds like it's kind of an older Teen X Ken Carson beat that he would have been on, because there are still a few trap beats on there. As much as there is vibes all over this project, there's some songs for the car as well. I don't think this is bad by any means. Personally though, those voices that I was talking about, that dopamine rush or that girl talking, I wanted more of that, honestly. Don't Rush is also a gem, dude. I don't even care. I'm putting that up in S tier. Easily one of my favorite beats. I feel like this song is just completely in my lane because whatever synth is going on in the background is super nice. I feel like it's the entire melody of the beat that I really like, and it's lyrics like Kawasaki baby slide. Like, I don't even know why Tecca said that, but it's kind of fun. Take Another Shot, No Rush. I feel like it's kind of a party track with these little drums, and I feel like Tecca has one track on every album where it has like Afro beat type of drums or whatever you'd call it. Another nice transition, hyping us up once again with Boys Don't Cry. Don't take me down for this, guys, but I think this is somewhere in the A tier. I definitely have like a handful of favorites. I don't think Boys Don't Cry has been in my top 5. I've seen a lot of love for it. Are there like trumpets in this beat? The intro really gives me a nice feeling. I definitely like some of the lines on this track where he's saying that he wanted someone to lie, to die for, to cry, to slide for. He said he might commit a crime, but now you say we're like Bonnie and Clyde. But the first time I heard him say you couldn't slide because you don't meet the criteria in the reaction, bro, I was dying laughing. That was actually a funny bar. It's got to be like the top of A tier at least right there. Boys Don't Cry. Can we settle for that? And then Sure of It. Oh my goodness, dude. This also has to be like top tier A. I almost feel like I've been liking this one more than Boys Don't Cry. It just really hits a spot. This song is very unique. No other song sounds like this on the track list. The bass on Sure of It though hits way more than the snippet. I really like the lyric every time I'm gonna bet on myself. I like that confidence from Tecca. I feel like it's something just perfect for what he'd say on his albums. If you just kind of know his personality a little bit too, I feel like he described himself well on this project. Tecca's run that he had earlier on in the album like never really stopped going into the middle portion of this album, and you know, by the time we get to the second half I'll tell you all the great things about this project as well. But the middle portion of the album was a very small weakness, like 1 or 2 tracks maybe on Plan A. And on Tech, looking back, the first half of the track list was definitely stronger than the second in my opinion when you listen to that album, but not with Dopamine. You continue to not be bored on this album and the pacing is terrific. Let You Know is also pretty underrated. It would definitely go towards the back of A tier, I feel like. I feel like him singing the Baby I'll Let You Know ended up just being a lot catchier than I intended it to be. I want all props though of this album and the song choices to go to Taz Taylor and Tecca working together on the executive production. I feel like if we look back to those albums I just talked about, back to back to back years, I feel like these guys together have like really improved, and they showed that. I know Census had a lot of fire beats that I liked on this project, but I know Rio did a lot of the transitions on the album. Let You Know going into On Your Own is by far my favorite transition on the album. I don't think there was too many to like get out of your seat for on the album, but I feel like that's what Tech and Plan A really had the surprise factor and really hit you with. But going into On Your Own, dude, I don't care. This has to be somewhere probably in my top 5. That looks about right to me up there, because whoever did this synth, what did I say in the stream, dude? They need dome piece. On Your Own to me is probably one of the best rap beats on the project, other than like Dark Thoughts, obviously. I feel like not enough people are talking about On Your Own. I don't know. What do we think about this take? I feel like it's better than a lot of tracks on the album. I knew pretty early on that I would have to nudge my way to top 5 for that track. Going into One Night, I'm gonna put that at the top of B tier. At worst case, guys, it's at the bottom of A tier for me. So again, it's too hard to pick a least favorite song because I wanted to write this one off because the distortion in it, actually Clams Casino, I think produced part of this track too, which is just so weird to me. I also think that a lot of like underground type of fans, you know, this would be one of their favorite tracks on the album. The rapping from Tecca ended up being a lot better than I thought. The only thing he really says on here crazy is like she got a dump truck. I doubted One Night early on, but newsflash, Tecca is a good rapper and one of the most consistent in the game. That song is still B tier. Anything above B tier has got to play for me. It's in my favorites on Apple Music. And then we're on track 14. I realized that I didn't really say too many numbers on this album, but oh well. Irish Goodbye, easily one of the best. I mean, gosh, I don't even know where to rank a couple of these. That looks right to me. I might even like Hollywood a tad more, so I like it right there. But talk about Tecca being super versatile from track to track. For some reason, you know what? This works after the distortion and the loudness we had of One Night. You just gotta tip your cap to Tecca, I guess, at this point. Irish Goodbye, I had to look up exactly what that meant, but it honestly makes sense. Tecca would title a track that. This song makes me want to go back on vacation where I just came home like less than a week ago already. Am I going crazy, or in the beat, like on the verse, did they not like chop up a girl's voice? And in my opinion, I think it's Charlie XCX saying brat. I could be wrong. What do you think the girl's saying? They chop up, you know, a girl's voice for the beat. So I just could not figure out what it was. I really liked it though. It was a nice touch. And then we got Wake Up, which I think, yeah, just probably fits right in the middle of B tier. Again, there's no really bad track on this album as much as I want to write off maybe that song for, you know, not being a standout, but there's so many standouts even on the second half. This might be a Tecca album that you can say there's like no filler on. I feel like that's something that you could argue. I like the lyrics. You think over there's got greener grass. It's just a nice picture. And then he also said, gave you the swag, can't even teach a class. I mean, Tecca has some of the best fits in the game, and like, you know, has a really nice aesthetic that he built for this album. It was something that he really improved on in terms of like the rollout as well. So he's got to flex it a little bit in the music. And then we got Malibu's Most Wanted, which I think is just gonna be also in the same category in like that B tier, maybe the top of B tier. I think when I started to really get into the flow of it, going into the verse, or when he starts rhyming back to back to back, that's when the song really hit the most for me. This is another just good performance from Tecca, another just kind of unique song for the track list, which I actually think the transition going into this Ken song here, and I'll put that at the end of A tier, that looks right to me. But you know, the build up with Ken going just kind of a cappella for a second, or just just, you know, kind of in the intro, it honestly really hypes me up. Not the craziest duo of all time right now, but they have some good songs under their belt. I would say that I liked Fell in Love a little bit better on Tech, but they now have, yes, a few songs under their belt that are good. You know, this was a very Ken Carson inspired track to what he's doing. Is it crazy to say this might be better off in the middle of the album? I'm not sure if it would fit there or not, but maybe that's just a thought for the middle of the album, you know, just one little mix up with a feature and then the rest is Tecca. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with this tier list. It makes sense that there's so much in S and A. There's so much replay value, and in my opinion, I feel like this is Tecca's best album. I was already saying it has his best production and honestly his best like album experience, and the more I listen to it, the more I realize like how good he is and just how happy I am with this project. And it's easily one of the best this year, easily one of the top rap projects as well this year. Finally, let me pull up my tier list ranking for the entire album, as I always do at the end of these videos. I am just barely going to sneak in Tecca's album into the top perfect tier, and I said this basically every reaction to every single came out. He's so easy to be a fan of. Every time he just comes back every year, drops great music, and stays away from all the other BS that everyone else is involved in, especially with the internet these days. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Tecca's Dopamine album review and tier list. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Tap with my Twitter and Instagram. More thoughts over there. Join the Discord. Follow me over on Twitch. I love you guys. Peace.